So you want to know what's killing your turbo? Perfect, because I've seen it happen hundreds of times and it's worse than you think. After 15 years building and breaking turbocharged cars, I can tell you this. There are 10 specific mistakes destroying your turbo right now, and you're probably making at least 3 of them. But here's what stunned me. Even experienced mechanics miss the deadliest ones. This matters because one $2,800 turbo replacement could have been prevented with a 2-minute habit change. Today, you're getting the truth nobody shares. And mistakes number 9 and number 10 will completely change how you drive. Number 1, shutting off the engine immediately after driving. How many of us pull into the driveway after a spirited drive and immediately shut the engine off? Wrong. This is one of the most destructive things you can do to a turbo. Here's what nobody tells you. When your turbo is spinning at up to 150,000 revolutions per minute and reaching temperatures around 1,000 degrees Celsius, it desperately needs oil circulation to cool down. I've seen turbos crack and fail within 50,000 miles, simply because drivers couldn't wait 2 minutes. The rule is simple. After highway driving, or any spirited driving, let your engine idle for at least 60 to 90 seconds. It's like asking a marathon runner to sit down immediately after crossing the finish line. Their body needs time to recover. One customer ignored this advice and paid $2,500 for a turbo replacement. Those 2 minutes would have saved him a fortune. Mistake number 2, using cheap or wrong oil. While most people think any oil will do the job, the truth is your turbo is incredibly sensitive to oil quality. I once had a friend who bragged about finding oil for $15 per jug at a discount store. 6 months later, his turbo seized completely. Turbos require high-quality synthetic oil that can withstand extreme temperatures and maintain viscosity under stress. Using conventional oil, or the wrong weight, is like trying to run a Ferrari on budget fuel. It might work temporarily, but you're setting yourself up for catastrophic failure. Always use the exact oil specification your manufacturer recommends. Typically 5W30 or 0W40, full synthetic for modern turbo engines. Yes, it costs $60 to $80 per oil change instead of $30, but compare that to a $3,000 turbo replacement and tell me which is the smarter investment. Mistake number 3, ignoring oil change intervals. Let me warn you about something mechanics see constantly. People stretch oil changes because they're too busy or trying to save money. In my experience, this is financial suicide for turbo owners. Turbocharged engines produce more contaminants and break down oil faster than naturally aspirated engines. That 10,000-mile oil change interval your manual mentions? That's for ideal conditions that basically don't exist in the real world. If you're doing city driving, short trips, or spirited driving, you should be changing your oil every 5,000 miles maximum. I met a driver who went 15,000 miles on one oil change. His turbo failed at 70,000 miles, roughly half its expected lifespan. Those skipped oil changes cost him $2,800 in repairs, plus rental car fees. Mistake number 4, flooring it when the engine is cold. You've probably seen someone start their car and immediately take off aggressively. Nothing could be further from proper turbo care. When your engine is cold, oil is thick and hasn't reached all the critical components yet. Demanding boost from a cold turbo is like asking someone to sprint immediately after waking up. Something is going to get injured. I always wait until my coolant temperature gauge reaches at least halfway before even thinking about accelerating hard. One colleague ignored this advice with his Subaru WRX constantly launching from cold starts. His turbo developed shaft play at 60,000 miles, requiring a $2,200 rebuild. Give your car at least 5 minutes of gentle driving before demanding performance. Mistake number 5, modifying without proper tuning. Here comes one of the most expensive mistakes I've witnessed. People install aftermarket intakes, exhausts, or downpipes thinking they're adding power. But without a proper tune, they're actually creating a lean condition that destroys turbos. I've seen this play out dozens of times. Someone spends $800 on parts, refuses to spend $500 on professional tuning, and ends up with a melted turbo worth $3,000 to replace. The engine computer isn't calibrated for the new airflow. Fuel mapping becomes incorrect, exhaust gas temperatures skyrocket, and damage follows. If you thought that was surprising, Wait for what's next, because these final mistakes are even more damaging, and almost nobody talks about them. Mistake number 6, neglecting the air filter. Trust me when I say this, a dirty air filter is a turbo's worst enemy. The turbo compressor pulls in massive amounts of air. Any restriction forces it to work harder to generate the same boost. I inspected a car where the owner hadn't changed the air filter in 40,000 miles. It was black and nearly clogged solid. The turbo showed premature wear from constant strain. Replace your air filter every 15,000 miles or once per year, whichever comes first. One driver told me he thought air filters were a scam by oil change shops. His turbo failed at 80,000 miles. Post-inspection revealed compressor wheel damage from debris. That $20 scam would have prevented a $2,600 repair. Mistake number 7, ignoring boost leaks. Most people focus on dramatic failures, but small boost leaks silently destroy turbos. If pressure is leaking between the turbo and the engine, the turbo spins faster to compensate. That creates excessive heat and wear. I check intercooler couplers and hoses during every service. Rubber components crack over time, especially in hot engine bays. One customer complained about reduced power, but ignored advice to check for leaks. 3 months later, his turbo bearings failed after working roughly 30% harder than necessary. A $150 hose replacement would have prevented a $2,400 turbo replacement. Check your boost system annually or anytime performance changes. Mistake number 8, using low-quality fuel. This one shocks people. Using regular fuel in a car designed for premium doesn't just reduce power. It can destroy your turbo through engine knock. Detonation creates shock waves that crack turbine wheels and damage bearings. I use premium fuel religiously in my turbocharged cars, even though it costs $8 to $10 more per tank. Over 5 years, that's maybe $2,000 extra, but a single severe knock event can require a $4,000 engine and turbo rebuild. An acquaintance ran regular fuel in his turbocharged BMW. After 30,000 miles, he needed a new turbo and piston repairs. Total cost exceeded $7,000. That's terrible math any way you calculate it. Mistake number 9, driving short distances constantly. Short trips are absolute murder for turbocharged engines. If you're only driving 5 to 10 minutes at a time, the engine never reaches proper operating temperature. Condensation builds up in the oil, fuel dilution increases, the oil turns acidic. I've seen turbos fail early on low-mileage cars used only for short commutes. If possible, take your turbocharged car on a longer drive at least once per week. Aim for 20 to 30 minutes at highway speeds. One neighbor used his turbocharged Audi only for a 3-mile daily commute. At 45,000 miles, his turbo needed replacement despite low use.